decided to make a different dessert with some leftover sponge. So what I've got here is just a plain old Victoria sponge sandwich cake. And what I'm going to show you how to do today is a baked Alaska. So you're going to cut your sponge into some slices, and you're going to take them apart and just pop them on the bottom of a round dish. Any shallow round dish really will do. So you're just going to pop them around in a circle like that. I think we're just going to need one more slice there. Maybe a little bit there left for later, I expect now. Now what we can do is, because we've separated it up, let me just move this one out of the way. So just going to pop a little bit more jam. Now I've just got some ordinary raspberry jam here. You can use strawberry jam or blackcurrant jam, it's up to you. Just going to pop a little bit more onto the sponge. And then I'm just going to, with the knife, we're just going to spread that over the sponge. Just gives it a nice jammy sort of flavour. For those of you who've never made a baked Alaska before, please don't be frightened of it. It's sponge, ice cream and meringue, and yes, you do put it in the oven even though it's ice cream. So we're just going to do that. Now before I put the ice cream on, because I don't want the ice cream to melt down yet, I'm going to make up the meringue. Now we're going to make the meringue in the same way as what we usually do. So I'm going to, for the one about this size, probably going to need about maybe five eggs. So I'm just going to separate these eggs up, and I'm not going to use the egg separator today because Christopher's not here, it's just me, so I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way and do it through my hands. Remembering, of course, though, not to get any yolk into the white, because if you do, your meringue won't mix up. So one more to make 5. Oops. Oh, there, God, nearly. Right, I'm going to be using the Kenwood mixer today for this. So I'm just going to bring it over. And if you do have a whisk, to make meringue, you're better off using a balloon whisk. So I'm going to pop that in, and we're going to whisk the egg whites first until they form soft peaks. Now our meringue is forming soft peaks, as you can see there. Oh! Whoops! As you can see there, these cameras are quite heavy, by the way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add, because we always add double the sugar to the eggs, and because we put 5 egg whites in, we're going to pop in 10 ounces, which is 285 grams of caster sugar. But what we're going to do is we're not going to put it all in at the same time. So I'm just going to start this going again on low, just on low, and I'm going to just add a bit of sugar a little bit at a time. And I'm just going to turn it up a bit more so it's going to be a bit noisy again. Adding all the sugar until it's eventually gone and it looks all nice and shiny and thick. So there's all our sugar in. So I'm just going to turn this back up high to get it all mixed in. Right, now we've got all our egg white mixed up. Just not going to see it is, well, it is peaking. I'm just going to knock that off. There we go. And it should look like that. Bearing in mind, upside down, over your head, to make sure that it doesn't rain. One of these days, that is going to actually come out on my head. Or on Christopher's head. Or on Paul's head. In the meantime, I'm going to get the ice cream out of the freezer. And I'm just using ordinary plain vanilla ice cream. And what I'm going to do is just pop the ice cream on top of the sponge when I can find my, there it is. So I'm just going to pop the ice cream just all over it. There's no right and wrong way of doing this. You're just going to pile it on all around the sponge. This makes a lovely decadent dessert that you wouldn't normally make, but to be honest, if you've got some spare cake, it doesn't really take that long to do. But if you haven't got any cake and you don't want to make one, I don't know how many of you can remember Arctic roll. Well, Arctic roll is not actually available very much at the moment, but a lot of supermarkets are doing their own ice cream roll. And you can use an ice cream roll or an Arctic roll if you can get one, and you can literally just take that out of its wrapper, pop it in a container. Probably best to use a long container. You can still use a round one, but probably best to use a long one. And just put the meringue mixture over that. Now, as you can see, I'm putting a nice generous amount of ice cream in here. So we'll put that one on there like that. Now, the secret of the ice cream not melting when it goes in the oven is all down to how you apply the meringue. So, oops, I've got some falling there. So make sure your cake, your ice cream is all in a circle there. So then you get your meringue and you place it on top. But then what you must do with it is make sure all your edges are completely sealed. You mustn't have any open edges whatsoever. So you come down the side like that, bring it all down. You can see just down to the side like that, bringing it right down to the side, making sure there are no gaps, no holes whatsoever. If you have a hole, your ice cream will melt. So we just spread this all over. This is why we use so much meringue to that amount of cake and ice cream, because you literally want every gap covered. Now we are going to put this into the oven on gas 8, so it's a very high oven, so it's very quick cooking. On gas 8, which is fan 220, and not fan would be about 240, and then you'd have 450 for Fahrenheit oven. So we're almost there now, almost got every bit covered up here. And this makes such a lovely treat for after dinner dessert, or something absolutely yummy for Sunday tea. Whichever, it always looks a lot more complicated than what it actually is. So we just got to cover that bit there. Then as you can see, every single bit, cover that bit up a minute. Every single part of the ice cream and all around the sides, absolutely covered, no gaps whatsoever, as you can see as you go around. So just double check it to make sure. Right, so now that's going to go into the oven, which has already been preheated, for about 5 minutes. So we'll leave that while you're waiting for that to do. Gives you a chance just to clear down. Okay everybody, that's been our 5 minutes, so I'm now going to take it out of the oven. Oh. And that is what it will look like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a knife and cut through it first. Oh, this is so decadent, guys. There, go along there with the knife. And then what I'm going to do is just take my spatula and lift it out onto the plate. And there you have your baked Alaska. And as you can see from the actual baked Alaska, the ice cream is still all in one piece. So I hope you give this a go, and I hope that excuse me. I hope you give this a go, and I hope that whoever you give it to really appreciates it too. If you do have a go with this, please put a photo on and leave a comment down below and let me know how you got on. Okay, so I'll see you all next week, guys, when Paul and Christopher will be with me next week. So cheerio everybody, and I'll see you next week. Bye.